Here's something simple, easy, that you can use right away. And the lesson is quite powerful. It's simple. And of course, that's what we like. It's simple, very clear, and we can use it immediately. And Confucius said, we have two lives. The second one begins when we realize we only have one. Let's do that again. We have two lives, and the second one begins when we realize we only have one. Now, that sounds very, very cryptic. Actually, it depends on how you look at it. Okay? So the way we can understand this is different levels of truth. First level of truth, okay, let me just clarify what levels of truth mean. If I make a small circle here, this is the way my teacher, Grandmaster Chalk taught us. If you have a small circle, that's truth level 1. You make a circle around it, that's truth level 2, which still contains level 1, just a bigger perspective. And then another circle outside, that's truth level 3, which contains 1 and 2. So if you say, oh, John lives in Los Angeles, that's the first circle. Then we say John lives in Southern California, the second circle, which is also correct. And we say, oh, John lives in the United States. That's also correct. All three truths can exist simultaneously depending on the perspective. Okay, this is very similar to what Einstein was saying about theory of relativity. It's dependent on the person or the perceiver. You perceive it from here, you perceive it from here, you perceive it from here. All right? Okay, that said, let's apply this to this very simple verse that says we have two lives. The second one begins when we realize we only have one. So first level of truth. When you say two lives, we mean the inner life and the outer life. So on the lowest level, at the lowest level, inner life is basically our private thoughts and feelings. Like whatever goes on, we don't express to someone. The outer life is how we interact with other people. That's the identity we have that we are showing the outside. So that's your inner life, that's outer life. That's why you notice there's some people, they're very happy, they're very joyful, they're talking to everyone, hey, they're the life of the party, and yet they have deep depression. Because their outer life and the inner life are not congruent. Okay? Right. So that's one level of truth. That's the lowest level. The next level of truth is in spiritual teachings, what you call the inner life is the identity of who you really are, the spiritual self, having an earthly experience. Okay? Now, the outer life is, for most people that are not yet serious about their spiritual path, their outer life is their only life. It's the identity that they have created, which includes all their memories and all their experiences. So if they grew up, they had a great childhood, they're always being praised for something they did well, they have great friends that support them. So their identity, hey, is I'm a good person. That is and then that's how they interact with the environment, that's how they interact with the world. That's their outer life. Now the opposite is also true. If somebody had a horrible childhood, they were not treated right, and they had trauma, they have some pain, difficulty, accident, whatever, and that scarred their emotions and thoughts, those experiences become their identity. That's their outer life. See that? So the inner life and the outer life, in this case, is the inner life is just simply you are the spiritual self having this earthly experience, and you're using, watch this, using your body, your emotions, and your thoughts to interact with the world consciously. That's the difference. Now, the outer life, for most people, that is their only identity because they are not conscious or aware of their real life, which is the inner life, the spiritual self having this earthly experience. So they just react with the environment. Okay? That is the cause of suffering. So when people react to, people insulting them or stuff they hear in the news or what society, government is doing, all these things are happening. All of that is happening outside of the eye. That's the outer life. But most people are not aware that you have two. So the only identity they have is, guess what? How they're feeling at that time. They woke up feeling great, Their body woke up that morning feeling great. They feel like refreshed. They have a good night's sleep. Okay, people greet them when they want to work. They're happy. Oh man, everything's great. That's their life. If some of that changes halfway through, something doesn't work so well, or in the morning they got up in the wrong side of the bed, as they say, they woke up grumpy or they had a hangover. So for them, their perception of life is not positive. So the outer life is moldable by the environment because, listen to this, because they are ignorant of the inner life. Okay, let's take this a little further. Okay, that's the reason why we do our spiritual practice. Okay, we do our spiritual practice not because, we want to follow a religion, we want to follow a belief system, we're trying to fix a problem, which, most people, that's what they do, right? I'm going to do meditation because I'm stressed out of my mind. They think meditation and spiritual practice is only used if you want to fix a problem. But in reality, the deepest and the most important reason we do our spiritual practice is to experience, to realize our true identity, which is our inner life. That whatever is happening, positive or negative, all of this are basically happening on the outside, on the outer life. Because the soul, the spiritual self, is simply using tools to interact with the environment. That's why when you meditate, what do? You shut down any noise, any flashing lights, you're trying to just isolate all your five senses or mute them down. The question is why? Because you want to experience what's beyond the five senses: sight, sound, smell, touch, taste. Right? You don't want things flashing. You don't want things tickling you. You don't want like something smelling or whatever. You just want devoid of any kind of stimulus to the five senses. So, whatever you experience outside of the five senses, that's a glimpse of what the inner life is about. So these two lives works like this. For most people, they are ignorant of the inner life. They are only aware of the outer life as their one life. That's why they suffer. When we forget about the inner life, that's the same reason we suffer. We get sucked into an argument. We get sucked into, politics. We get sucked into this and we get angry, we get upset, we can't sleep. That's because the outer life became our only life. Okay? Now, here's the interesting part. As you do your meditation, you do your spiritual practice, right? If you're doing it properly, you're trying to isolate the spiritual I, the real I, from all of this that's happening. The result is peace. Again, let me repeat. Most people think you get inner peace by putting something in your system to have inner peace. Let me chant this mantra. Let me read this book. Let me talk to this person. Let me, drink something, smoke something, shoot something. And even if it worked, it's never permanent. Because inner peace only comes from emptying everything out. Because when you're emptying everything out, what's left is the spiritual I, the real I. Devoid of thoughts, feelings, emotions, and sensations. And yet, you're fully conscious. That is the meaning of spiritual awakening or self-realization. Most people are realized on the false self. Because the self that they're thinking of, or their perception of the self, is a conglomeration of all the thoughts, feelings, emotions, experiences that they've ever had. Again, like I said earlier, if their experiences were very positive, hey, everything's amazing. If they had negative experiences, everything's horrible. But in reality, the soul, the spiritual self, is devoid of these. Now, listen carefully. So when you do your meditation and spiritual practice, there are many ways to do it. Some people do some form of chanting, that they do some breathing. All of this is to expel thoughts and emotions, right? So as we do our meditation, you will notice, let me repeat the pattern again. You go from chaos and turmoil, which is the outer life. You go, no, there's no chaos. Well, what is the meaning of chaos? That means there's no rhythm. Everything goes all over the place. Well, think about it. How are we mostly in our lives? Sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're sad. You read the news, or things are happening. Oh, everything's great. Like that. Or even at work, even when things are going well, you're full focus on this. Before you know it, it's something else. It's something else. Right? So, that's chaos or turmoil. From chaos and turmoil, you move into calmness. That's why after work, you go, okay, let me just listen to some music to just calm myself down. Or maybe I'll watch a movie to distract my mind. Something to just take you out of the, like this, to some form of, that's calmness. Now, here's the problem. They're not challenge. Sometimes there's a time to use the word challenge. There's a time to say it's a problem. Sometimes people who are over positive, fooling themselves, they use the word challenge for everything when in reality it's a problem. So if it's a challenge, they say, oh, okay, it's a challenge. But in reality, if it's a problem, you go, oh, man, I better fix this. Okay? So that's my 2 cents. I could be completely wrong. So the problem is most people are happy with just being calm. So it's just like the lake has a lot of ripples. When finally there's no bird pooping, there's no wind, there's nothing. Ooh, the water is very calm. Until one little droplet from the sky could stir it up again. That's why it's not sustainable. While the general public, they're happy with it. Oh yeah, finally some calmness. No. From calmness, you have to shoot for silence. So not only is it quiet and calm, no more noise. No, everything's quiet. Not really quiet, but just okay, no more getting stirred up. Not good enough. At some point, you want the calmness to become so calm, so still, that you're barely getting any signals to your body, your thoughts, and your emotions, your ears, your eyes, whatever. And then you have quiet or silence. For a lot of people, it's like, hallelujah, that's great. That's one reason I travel all the way to the mountains, to the sea, whatever, to get that. Good. So most people, that'd be like victory. Not good enough. Silence needs to be, look at my hand, stretched, stretch some more, which leads to stillness. Only in that stillness, this happens. No thoughts, no feelings, and yet you're very, very conscious. At that point, you experience a glimpse of your real self, a spiritual being of pure energy, devoid of thoughts and feelings. And for a lot of people, just to give you some benchmarks, when you experience this, when you get to it, some of the sensations or some of the experiences people have is like, wow. It feels like I'm in outer space, in a complete vacuum. Everything's so still, so quiet, and yet I'm fully conscious. And at that point, some people experience extreme clarity. Right? For a lot of people, that lasts maybe 10 seconds to 30 seconds. They're like, hallelujah, that's great. But you see, it can be longer. The key is to keep doing your practice over and over. As you keep doing your practice, you literally can even stretch that stillness. As that stillness lasts longer and longer, you start experiencing not only that you are a soul occupying a physical body. Okay, watch this. You start experiencing, how come there's this I that I experience is not just here, it almost feels like I'm here and somewhere else at the same time. Guess what? It's just like you take perfume, like it's in a bottle, right? You remove the cap. As the smell comes out, what was supposed to be liquid is now released into gas and vapor, and it's now spreading everywhere. So just imagine every particle of that vapor or that air particle of that perfume has a sensor. So that means instead of the perception of the eye just being inside this container, as a metaphor, if these air particles are now in a big room, that's why people can smell it, just imagine every particle of those can sense its existence. That is what you call the higher soul. People always say, oh yeah, my higher self. You ask them what I mean. No, somewhere up there. No, it's not. It's always there. Except our perception of the eye is always trapped in the physical body, our emotional body and mental body, like what we experience with what we touch, we feel, and we think. So when you temporarily remove the influence of the body, the emotions and thoughts, you feel freedom. That is what you call the incarnated soul, the part of the self that is inside a certain packaging. And that packaging continues with us before the body dies or the bodies die. So the question is, how do you experience your true self while you're still in the body and having a family, work, and everyday life? That's where spiritual practice comes in. So when you do your meditation and spiritual practice, that allows you to temporarily experience the stillness. It's so still, you get to wake up in the inner worlds, your inner life. Then you experience, oh, I'm using this body to touch something. I'm using this body to hug someone. I'm using this body to pick up this book. I'm using my certain feelings to connect with someone. I'm using my thoughts to gather information, process it, send it to someone. As information comes in, I process it, I internalize it. It's just like the eye is not aware I'm using 3 tools: body, emotions, and thoughts. That is the incarnated soul, or what people call the lower self. The part of us that is in flesh. In Sanskrit, in Spanish, carne is meat or flesh. So that's why it's called incarnated soul. When you hear the word incarnation, it means from formless going into something that has a form or a container. That's the incarnated soul. Now watch this. As we do our meditation spiritual practice, so you go to church, you go to temple, synagogue, to the mosque, any religion, like when you get to that part of stillness, now you're beyond religion. You know why? Because religion is your outer life. It's the packaging that we were taught of how to experience your inner life. You see the connection? So at some point, you start to realize everybody has different religions, everybody has different belief system, but all of them are wrapped in a certain packaging. If you remove the packaging, we're all the same. That's the incarnated soul. Then as you do your meditation, go deeper and deeper, stretch that silence, stretch that stillness, at some point, you start to experience there's a part of the eye which is almost in many places at the same time. Make sense? That's your higher self. That's where your consciousness is now not just on the first floor of a building. Your awareness is now on the first floor to the whatever floor. That's why people say, oh, yeah, my higher self must be telling me don't do anything stupid. Because your higher self is just like somebody looking at the 5th floor, looking down the ground floor. Okay, if you do this, this guy will come up and beat you up. Okay, don't do that. That's using everyday terms to understand incarnated self and higher self. All that to just tell you, those 2 lives, the inner life and outer life, the outer life is not real. It's fabricated. But for most people, that fabricated life, for them, is the real life. That's why they suffer. That's the meaning in spiritual teachings that that person is asleep. Make sense? That's why when the Buddha was trying, people were trying to worship him as God, he said, no, don't worship me. I'm not God. I'm awake. That's all. This is, I'm awake. The problem is always the people, not the teacher. The teacher gave the teachings that are so pure, people have to screw it up and, use their outer life perceptions to create something that says, hey, this is Buddhism, this is this is that. When in reality, if you want to call a true religion, it's ridiculously simple. Step 1, experience your true self. Good luck. With that, probably 9% of the population just failed. But if you blast through that and get to experience your true self every single day, even for just a minute, your perception of reality is different. You start to realize, as I interact with people, I'm just using certain tools to get the outcome I want. I want to experience more love. So, I use my emotional body to create feelings of love. I use my mental faculty to think of ways or a plan to create the circumstance for that to happen. And then, when it's there, I use my physical body to do it. That's it. If something's not positive, people are not treating you well, you need to protect yourself, your family, it's the same thing. You're just aware, okay, these negative thoughts and feelings are coming towards me. All right, to protect myself, my family, number 1, I have to feel a certain level of control. Okay, I love this person, but hey, I have to create boundaries. The mind, or just to be more succinct, the intellectual faculty has to create a plan using different ideas, and the physical body will execute. So being awake or having your inner life and outer life controlled by your inner life, when all is said and done, you have one life. That's why the Buddha said, not the Buddha, Confucius said, we have 2 lives, and the second one begins when we realize we have one. The so-called second life is when we realize that the 2 are just one. The inner life and the outer life is controlled by the spiritual self. So therefore, there's no separation. The inner life is what controls the outer life, and they're one. That's it. It's very simple. If you understand it this way, you start to realize whatever is happening in the world, what's happening in my life, what's happening to somebody else, all of these are happening outside of the spiritual self. Now, you know what screws it up? You want to know? Your emotions and your thoughts. When we react to what we see in the news, or what people do to us, so when we react, then we allow the emotions and the thoughts in the body to control the soul. That's where the problem starts. Right? Somebody insults you. So what happens? If the soul is not in control of the body, the emotions thought, the emotions go, oh yeah, that person has insulted me. The mental faculty says, yeah, let me think of ways to insult them back. Physically, you yell and scream. Does that happen to us? All of us happen. Then a day later, 2 days later, maybe a week later, you go, I should not have done that. And then people, why? I don't know, man. When he said that, he triggered me. Magic word. I lost control. Another magic word. Translation. You allowed is a key word. Consciously or not, you allowed the thoughts and emotions of that person projecting towards you, or whatever they did, to control your thoughts and emotions, so much so they're on autopilot, and then what? Reciprocated. So, in essence, you outer life to control. The soul lost control. That's why you say, I lost it. You're absolutely right. Now watch this. If you try to recall times in your life where you actually are aware, this person's screaming and yelling, and I know if I scream and yell back, this will escalate and I will lose the negotiation, I will lose the deal, blah, 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 whatever. So, Instead of doing that, I'll stay calm. I'll try to understand them. Try to understand their pain points. Try to make them feel better so we can close the deal. What happened? You stayed in control. Control of what? Your intellectual faculty, your emotional faculty, and your physical faculty. The inner life controlled the outer life. Now, here's what happens. For most people, that happens sporadically. You know why? It's habit. Most of us, we just let the emotions, the thoughts, the body take over. Good luck with that. That's why the metaphor I always use, you're like a charioteer with 3 horses. Physical body, emotional body or astral body, and the mental or intellectual faculty, intellectual body. And when you just put them together, put reins on, you're on a chariot, right? If you just go, okay, go. They'll be all over the place. The body wants to do this way. One horse wants to go that way, wants to go that way, wants to go that way. It'd be chaos. But what if you individually train the physical body, individually train the emotional body to control the emotions, individually control the intellectual, the mind, the intellectual faculty of the mind. When you put them together, you tell all 3 of them, there's no choice. You 3 better work together. So when you go like this, I want to go here, they go there. You want to go there, you go here. For most people, they just go like this. Okay, we have 3 horses. Take me wherever you want. Good luck with that. Until they're trained, they control you. Now, some people say, yeah, but I like doing things, with what feels right. With what feels right. Good luck with that again. When you say what feels right, you're assuming your intellect, your emotions, and your body have been trained. If they've not been trained, if you grew up in an environment where there's chaos, that is their training. So you say, I'll do whatever it feels like, expect chaos. Make sense? That's why when I hear spiritual teachers talk about that, oh, just do what feels right, I go, you're assuming these people have trained horses. If not, good luck with that. Now, that sounds harsh, but that's the reality of it. The earlier we have that realization, the earlier we said, hey, I better train my body. I better train my emotions and my thoughts, not the other way around. Now, here's the interesting part. If we choose not to train the body, the emotions, and thoughts, then the final teacher will train them anyway. It's called pain through the law of karma. It's not very positive. Who cares? It is what it is. In other words, emotionally, if you like to get even with someone, right? Yeah, this isn't, so you scream, yell, and do something. I want to get even. That's the way you live your life. Okay. You won't listen to anyone who shares something with you. Practice kindness. You won't listen. Well, there's this thing called the law of karma, and it's not your opinion of karma. It's a universal law. It's like a cosmic boomerang. So until we train the body, the emotions, and thoughts to behave and plant positive seeds, you always get a negative harvest. At some point, the pain gets so bad, you go, okay, I think I'll listen. I start noticing a pattern. Ooh, hey, genius. Oh, I felt something, saw a pattern. Every time I'm not nice to people, at some point, people are not nice to me. I notice when I steal from people, some things, I lose money over stuff that are not necessary. Hey, I'm seeing a pattern. Hey, genius, you don't have to even figure that out. It's been figured out for us for thousands of years by great teachers. It's called the law of karma. But some people, they think they're beyond it. So the teachers go, okay, go. Let it knock yourself out and then come back. Is that direct enough for you? Now, some of you probably get turned off with this. Ask me if I care. Your opinion, my opinion, doesn't matter. Get it through your head. Our opinions don't matter. They're inner laws and outer laws of the universe. The earlier we understand it and harness it, the better our lives become. If you're in denial, it'll bite you in the butt sometime. I'm talking from experience. I'm talking from experience. So if I say this with such certainty, it's not because, I read this, I'm enlightened. No, I've been through so much stupid mistakes and pain. I go, I think I'll listen to what my teacher said. That's it. Very simple. So your inner life and your outer life, you have two lives. But in reality, you only have one life. And that spiritual self controls the outer life. And that starts by realizing who you are, that your body, emotions, and thoughts are simply tools that you use every day. They don't control you, you control them. So you maintain your spiritual identity, the spiritual self. And in your spiritual practice, the longer you spend time being who you are, meditating on your true self, you start to experience your true self is beyond the earthly life. That's your higher soul. And then, here's the interesting part. As you experience that longer and longer and deeper, you start to experience, you're not the only one. Then you start to experience, every person, every being is a soul, a spiritual self. We're swimming in the same spiritual ocean. So the I in me is one with the I in all. And at some point, as you go deeper and deeper, you experience that collective I is part of the universal being called God. That's why meditation is, I am affirmation. I'm not the body, I'm not the emotion, I'm not the thoughts, I am the soul. I'm a spiritual being of divine intelligence that controls my thoughts, a spiritual being of divine love to control my emotions, spiritual being of divine power to control my body. I am the soul. When you experience yourself as the spiritual being, just pure energy without body, emotions, and thoughts, you start to experience a bigger part of you. That's why we say, I'm one with my higher self. We've always been one. Now your perspective is not here, your perspective is expanded. That's what the meaning of expansion of consciousness. It's like a perfume. Remove the cap. Instead of the particles being in there, it's now scattered. Instead of our consciousness being trapped in the physical form and what's going on in our everyday life, you start to experience you're beyond it. That's your higher self. Then at some point you start to realize, I'm one with all. Then you go, I'm one with God. That's that, finished. That's realization. Let's meditate. Put your hands on your heart. Focus on your crown. I am that. I'm not the body. I'm not the emotion or the thoughts. I am the soul. Now put your attention on your crown. I am the soul. I am the soul. Just repeat that. I am the soul. I am the soul, the spiritual self. I am the soul. I am connected in one to my higher soul. I am connected in one to the divine spirit, the divine spark in me. I am a child of God, meaning we're still growing and evolving. However, it doesn't change the eternal truth that we have come from God and we are one with God. There's only oneness. Be still. Now open your hands in blessing. We will do the meditation twin hearts to facilitate the emptying out of these thoughts and emotions. Remember, we talked about that first. You need to emptying it out. What's left is the I. So you can take a fire hose or you can do a spiritual fire hose. As we bless the earth, the energy flows through us, it cleanses out. Okay? Visualize the earth in front of you. Be aware of your heart, the center of your chest, the heart center. Imagine beautiful pink light from your heart flowing through your hands and filling up the entire earth. We will use the prayer of Saint Francis of Assisi. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Wherever there's hatred anywhere, within me, outside of me, let me sow unconditional love. Just be still. Where there's injury, let me sow pardon and forgiveness. Where there's doubt, let me sow faith. Where there's despair, let me sow hope. Just recall people you know going through difficult times with their health, with their relationships, even their finances. Flood them with this beautiful pink light. May they be blessed with hope and with faith in a better life. So be it. Where there is darkness, darkness is the ignorance of one's true nature, that we're beings of light. Where there is darkness, let me bring forth divine light. May all be blessed with spiritual awakening. May all be blessed with divine oneness. And where there's sadness, let me sow joy. So just be aware of your heart in your hands. Fill the earth with peace, with love, with the spirit of forgiveness, with hope and with faith, with light, and with lots of joy. So be it. Just be still. Allow the blessings to just keep flowing through you. Just let it flow. May all be blessed. Now be aware of your heart. Take a deep breath. Lift that loving feeling up to your crown and exhale. Just focus on your crown. Imagine golden light from your crown flowing down through your hands and blessing your home. Bless all the people in your family with this beautiful golden light. Let it spread to your relatives, your friends, the people you work with. Let the golden light spread throughout the city, the country, all the countries in the world, especially the ones who are going through difficulties with war, with calamities, with political unrest, and any form of suffering. Fill these places with golden light. Just say, our hearts are one, our souls are one. From the heart of God, through my soul, through my entire being, may every person, every being on earth be blessed with loving kindness. May all be blessed with great joy and happiness, with understanding, harmony, and divine peace. So be it. Many of you put in comments or send emails about blessing different parts of the world that are at war, or people who are suffering due to natural calamities or for whatever reason. Picture those places in front of you. Fill them with golden light. May divine blessings of mercy and compassion be to these places and all beings in that area. So be it. So be it. Now, be aware of your heart and your crown simultaneously. Take a deep breath. Focus on your heart and crown. As you exhale, imagine golden light brighter than before pouring through us. Just intense, intense golden light flowing through us, out of our hands, into our homes, our communities, our countries, and filling up the entire earth, inside and out. Saturate the earth with intense golden light. Our hearts are one, our souls are one, our spirits are one. From the center of the heart of God, through my spirit, through my soul, through my entire being, may every person, every being, in the higher worlds, middle worlds, even the lower worlds, may all beings, all of them without exception, in every dimension, every direction, above and below, be blessed with God's unconditional love and kindness. Now just be still and let that flow through. Unconditional love and kindness to all. May all be blessed with inner peace, inner and outer healing. Picture the places where people are suffering. May all of them be blessed. May they be healed of any pain, sorrow, or suffering. So be it. Let there be peace. Let there be mercy and compassion. Let there be divine order. So be it. Project it to the places in the world that are having this turmoil now. So be it. From the center of the heart of God, may all beings be blessed with understanding, harmony, and divine peace. Blessings be to all. So be it, and so it is. Now here's the critical part. Just keep your tongue on your palate, be still, put your gentle attention on your heart and crown, as well as your hands, and let the golden light keep flowing through you. Be still. With your eyes still closed, tongue still on the roof of your mouth, gently lower your hands. Just a little bit above your crown, imagine a beautiful golden flame just floating up there. The image doesn't have to be clear, it's there. Just imagine a beautiful golden flame just floating above your head. Your entire awareness and attention is on that golden light. As you look at that brilliant light, simultaneously be aware of the love within your heart. Send a stream of love from your heart up to the throat, to the center of your head, to your crown, past your crown, and into that golden flame. Stay there. Experience your true nature, a pure being of light. Be still and listen. Amen. Amen. Allow your awareness to drift deeper and deeper into that beautiful golden light. Stay there. Amen. Amen. Om. Be still. Be aware of your inner stillness. Be aware of that inner light. That is you. Be still. Be aware of your true nature. A being of pure energy and light. Stay there. Be still be aware and just simply let go and let things happen now. Gently, very slowly, very gently and slowly, maintain that stillness, simultaneously be aware of your physical form. Allow this stillness to be embedded in your physical body. Just be still. Just be aware of your physical body and your physical organs, simultaneously experiencing the stillness. So be it. Now, slowly move your fingers, move your toes. Raise your hands again. Picture all the people in your life that you love. Flood them with this beautiful golden light. May all of them be blessed with good health, with much happiness, with abundance and prosperity and spiritual oneness. So be it. So be it. Now you may bless your job, your career, your business with success, with progress and prosperity. Okay, it's good energy. Now put your attention on your feet, the base of your spine. Project golden light into the earth. Let our beloved Mother Earth be blessed with divine light, love, and power. Let our beloved Mother Earth be healed, regenerated, and revitalized. So be it. So be it. Okay, let's give thanks to the Divine Supreme One, Divine Father, Mother. Thank you to all the spiritual elders, holy masters, to all the saints of all traditions, archangels, holy angels, spiritual helpers. We thank you for your immense blessings. Personally, to my teacher, Master Tuakok Sri Mahaguji Mailing, we thank you for all your immense blessings in full faith. And so it is. Right, open your eyes. I hope you had a good meditation. This was a longer session than normal, but if you're listening, it encapsulates what is called self-realization. All right, please share this with as many people as possible. And as always, people will keep asking, so I'll just repeat it. If you want to donate, you want to give to keep this ministry free, just go to mastercard.org or panicking.com. You're welcome to donate there if you like. All right, we will see you in the next Anchor the Light. Namaste, you guys take care, and